again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming at you with another Let's Talk D&D video. In this video, it's not scripted. I just have been thinking about this all day. I wanted to kind of just, I wanted to make a video, make an announcement. It comes kind of with a heavy heart, but also with a joyous heart. So, this is about my Odyssey of the Dragon Lords campaign, but it's also about any D&D campaign, any player to game master relationship, it's basically if this video can help any player out there that might be struggling with this or has got some misconceptions or misunderstandings or anything, hopefully this will help you as well. So I've decided to make this video about DM to player expectations, and also to make an announcement that is it's a double-edged sword. Okay, before I go into my let's talk about D&D and referees and narrators and what it means to be a narrator and what it means to be an actor in someone else's story, I want to say something about my campaign. I run a game every other Thursday. Let me back up. I run a game every Thursday, but I alternate every Thursday with two games. So I have a Traveler game, which is a science fiction role-playing game that I run on Thursdays, and then it alternates with Dungeons and Dragons, which I run Odyssey of the Dragon Lords every other Thursday. Okay, so in Odyssey, well, and in both games really, we lost a couple of players due to other activities that they're doing. So what that's done is it's given me an opportunity to put a notice out like this. If you're interested in playing in my version of Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, you should chat me up. Drop a note in my on Roll20. Look for my game, or if it's closed, you can always drop me a direct message in Roll20. And if you're interested in one or the other or both, just let me know. What we do is we get together on Discord, so we voice chat on Discord, and then we use Roll20 to manage our D&D or Traveler game. So if you're interested, jump in. Because a couple of slots just opened, and I appreciate if you're interested, and I don't mind getting you in. It's still early in the campaign. The players in D&D are just now hitting 8th level. This campaign is supposed to go on till 15 or more. I anticipate it going on probably more than that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Traveler, it's also just early on. They're only on like their 3rd or 4th planet in the Traveler campaign. I love Traveler. You should contact me and I'll get you involved in that too. If you've never played either one of these but you're interested in learning, let me know. New players are welcome, and everybody in the group that I can tell is very supportive and it will help you out, and we're totally a good group of guys. I don't know anybody in our party that would show any ill will to anybody. I think we're all like good people. Okay, so that's that. Now let's talk about players interacting with the narrator of the story. Okay, so for those of you that are watching the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, or if you have never seen any of my D&D live streams, or seen any D&D live streams, or not sure about what D&D is or anything, it's basically a fantasy role-playing game where you can play as a character. You play a part of a story that is orchestrated, narrated, overseen by a referee. And this referee, often called a dungeon master, which I don't like that term because that is that's old school. That is a holdover from when the game was all about characters going into a labyrinth that is created with hex or graph paper, and you go from room to room killing monsters, getting treasure and experience points and leveling up, and having no role playing at all. And so you were actually the referee of a dungeon that you would create. And that's D&D has evolved way beyond that. Just so you know, a little bit of my background, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since the late 70s. Okay, so 77, 78, something like that. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons. So you can just imagine, that's like, how many years is that? And I've been gaming, I've been gaming professionally for about 25 years, 25 years, 25 years. I don't know. It's approximately 25 years. So I know what I'm talking about. I've ran hundreds of different D&D campaigns, not just D&D. I've ran a bunch of other role-playing games as well. Traveler, The Fantasy Trip, Mutants and Masterminds, Tunnels and Trolls, Paranoia, The Morrow Project, Palladium, Champions, the list goes on. Okay, so without really getting into all of that, this is just an overall general gist of my game is, and you notice how I said my game, right? That's the game has a narrator and a referee that is trying to tell a story, right? So I liken this to an author of a novel, right? If there is an author out there that you'd like to read, let's just say, I don't know, Stephen King. Let's just I'm pulling him out of the hat. He writes a book, right? He writes a story. And you pick that book up off the shelf, you buy it, whatever, or I don't even know if you do that anymore. What do? Just download it on the Kindle? Whatever. But you read it, you enjoy it, and you, or you don't enjoy it, but you read it, and you get your enjoyment from the story, right? So, as a narrator, I am the author of my book, my story. And the players are the characters that I would introduce in the story, in the chapters. These are people that you read about when you're reading your book. But the players get to control their characters through the story. Okay, so there has to be an expectation and understanding between the players and the author of the book I shouldn't say book, the author of the story, that they are just actors, impromptu actors, but they're actors in a story that is being narrated by the referee. Do they get to make decisions? Yeah. Do they get to choose their own path, as you would say? Yes. Do they get to fail? Do they get to succeed? Yes. But this is the overarching thing that I'm trying to get at today, is they are not writing the story. They are participating in the story. They are not the author of the book. They are just a participant. It could be, it's a cooperation. It's the player and the referee need to have a repertoire. You understand where they're coming from. They need to understand where you're coming from. So this is my point. I say that, but I keep going on a tangent. This is one of my many points. If you are the referee of your story, you want to lay out a set of guidelines, or you want your players to understand their part in the story. You don't want them to think that they can change your story. So let's just say, this is hypothetical. This is not what's going on in my Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. But let's just say there is a black dragon. Okay. It's a dragon. It's colored black. Okay. You, as the author of your story, can decide, and have probably already decided, the motivations of this dragon, why it's doing whatever it's doing, who it likes, who it hates, what it loves, what kind of treasure it has, how it's going to interact with the characters when they meet them, etc., etc. Right? Now, when your players show up and interact with this dragon, they're going to have some preconceived notions, because they've probably played other D&D games, right? They've played D&D. They're probably veterans of D&D. They probably played for 20 years, 100 years, 50 years, whatever it is. And they know in their heart, right? And I just yelled and I'm sorry. But they know in their heart, and their thoughts and their minds and all their preconceived notions, that black dragons are evil. So, being that they assume this, they're going to go into this encounter with that in their mind. They're going to say, okay, he's a black dragon. He's obviously evil. So we're going to have to kill him, right? And take his treasure and become the heroes and all that good stuff, right? Okay. But what if you, as the game master, have decided that it doesn't matter what color your dragons are. They can be good, they can be evil. It's just however they were raised, or whatever their interaction. It's nurture, not nature, right? So maybe you think that if this black dragon was raised by a good paladin in a city that, taught it, morals and bonded with it, because you can bond with dragons in Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. But let's just say this paladin bonded with this black dragon, and they became kind of like one personality, and as a So in your story, I'm just using this as a hypothetical. In your story, this black dragon is not a bad dragon. He's a good guy, right? And that's relative, But let's just say that he's not opposed to the players. He doesn't want to hurt them, and he believes that he goes and rescues damsels in distress and all that good stuff, right? So this is another thing I'm trying to get at. So the players show up. They say, it's a black dragon. We got to kill him. He's evil. There's no other way, right? And I had a player at one point in my past that's how they thought. They thought colored dragons are evil. Metallic dragons are good, period, And you have to kind of curb that through either story, right? So they learn about this dragon throughout their quests, and they find out that there's this black dragon. He's a good guy and he's doing good things. But what if they just stumble upon him, and as a referee, you should never allow players to just stumble upon them, because then that is not you telling a story. That's it depends on how you run your game. Is it open world, or are you running a story? Okay, so if you've got a story and you have them interact with this black dragon, first of all, you should have already gave them a bunch of nuggets and seeds that lets them know that he's a good dragon. But what if you didn't? Or what if they didn't talk to the right people? What if they just said, hey, let's go to this one island over here and let's just check it out? And that just happens to be where that black dragon is. And they go to this island and there's a black dragon. They have this encounter. So now you didn't give them any story that let them understand that this black dragon's not a bad guy. So they immediately assume he's a bad guy. That's not necessarily your failure. It's just because players are so unpredictable, they do things that you can't account for 99% of the time. So it's not a failure, but it is a misstep. Let's just say that. And so to eliminate that misstep, you need to, at the very beginning of your game, before the characters make their characters, you need to go over your method of running a game, or you need to share with them your story synopsis, or your story, what do they call it, prologue, or whatever they call it, preface, right? You need to tell them what can and can't happen in your story. So during that time, you need to let them know that it doesn't matter what color a dragon it is. It could be good or it could be bad. You could get a gold dragon and he could be bad. You could get a black dragon, he could be good. It just depends on the way things happen, right? So it's incumbent upon you as the narrator to let your actors know what the script is, right? Because you don't want them going off script. Okay. Now, as a player, you need to pay attention to what your narrator of your story is telling you. If the narrator tells you that black dragons can be good, but when you go into this scenario and you just immediately think that black dragons are evil, you weren't listening to the script. Okay. Now let me tell you a little something about my Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. Odyssey of the Dragon Lords is my Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. Yes, I'm running it out of the module. It's a campaign book. Yes. Someone else, not me, wrote out a story. I took that story in the module and I made it my own, right? I'm pretty much 99% sticking with the story as written. But if I, as the author of my story, want to change something, or if I want to add something, I can do that. That comes with being the dungeon master. Okay, as the referee of the game, I can add monsters. I can add NPCs, characters, motivations. I can change what someone looks like. I can do whatever, right? Because you are in control of the story. I'm the author, right? I'm the one writing the story, not the players. And this is where I get pushback from I get pushback from a certain type of person. I'm not going to put any labels on them. Let's not do that. Let's not play any identity politics here. There are people that enjoy the story that your referee tells, whoever it may be. I play in other people's games. When they tell me that blue equals purple, I'm like, that's weird, but okay, I'm cool with it, right? But I don't go back and say, no, blue ain't purple. Blue is blue. You can't lie to me. Yes, he can. He's the author of his story. If he wants to say that dwarves are 10 feet tall, that's his business. He can do that. I have to live with it. Okay. So in my game, I'm the author of my story. I tell these players, my players, X equals X, Y equals Y, Z equals Z, and then a few of them are experienced D&D players, and they have played in a number of other settings, right? And in those settings, they pretty much stick straight out of the book, right? You are a fighter as a fighter, a ranger as a ranger, a paladin as a paladin, right? Where in Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, that's not the case. That is not the case. Magic is limited. Okay, let's tell you a little bit about Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. It's kind of a Greek-based campaign. Okay, it has Greek undertones or philosophies. It's supposed to take place in a fantasy world. Nowhere in particular. But you have hoplites and you have oracles and all the monsters are out of Greek mythology and all that good stuff. So I, as the author of my story, thought it would be great, and I did this. I took the island that this campaign takes place in this book and placed it in the Mediterranean. I said, boop, there it is. There is a storm that surrounds it, and think of it like Kong Island or whatever. There's a storm all around it. Nobody can find it, and everybody gets shipwrecked there and stuff. Well, that's what happens. And in the story, that's exactly what's happening. You got the Lord of Storms causing this big storm around the island to keep people from coming and going. And the Greek gods, they even mention in the book, the Greek gods have no power on this island because their power only is in Greeks. So that kind of got my mind turning that I could place this on Earth in BC, like 500 BC, and just, like, what is it, like the Amazon, like Themyscira or whatever from Wonder Woman or whatever, you know. So it's hidden from humanity and all that stuff, but there's still fantasy creatures there. And I won't won't bore you with the details, but I changed the story just a little bit here and there, not much, not very little, but there's a few things. Because it's Earth, I don't allow certain classes. And the story specifically says certain classes are considered non-heroic, right? So I lean on that. I lean very much on that. And I won't get into the details of why I don't like warlocks and sorcerers. But there is a reason why I don't like warlocks and sorcerers. Thieves, okay, in this universe are considered background characters. They're not front rank in your face champions or heroes, you know. And if it was any other D&D campaign being ran, then a thief can be, or rogue, you know, can be an asset to a heroic party, right? Okay. But in this campaign, thieves are considered not trustworthy. They're considered, or rogues, we'll say rogues, are considered not trustworthy. They're background characters. They're people you go to get things done. They're not the champion of the story. They're not the heroes. There's also, speaking of which, there's also gods walking amongst the universe, and you know, just like in Greek mythology, you know, like Hercules and them, and the players have interactions with them, and they become heroes, or you know, superheroes basically. And so I don't want to give you too many spoilers about this or whatever. So this is a two-part video, like I thought I was going to tell you. Like I had some positive and I had some negatives, and then I just had some misunderstandings and expectations. So the first part of this video, I know it's really long. The first part of this video was I just wanted to tell you about the a referee should always give his players expectations of what they should expect in your game. And if you don't, then there can very easily be misunderstandings and things like that. So I want to give advice to some players out there and referees. If you are a player and your referee tells you that A and B equals C, take it and run with it. It's the universe. They're giving you the information. Take it. Don't go into the game with the attitude that, nope, that's not the way it is. Well, actually, okay, no, don't. Well, actually, you know, a fighter can do. No, don't do that. If they say that this is the way their universe works, take it and run with it. There's usually a reason why they do it that way. It could be a good reason, could be a bad reason, but at least they have a reason. It's their story. Let them tell it. You're just an actor in their movie. You're not the director. If the director says enter from stage left, then you need to enter from stage left. You're just now having said that, the referee I'm trying to give advice to both people. The referee should not abuse the fact that you are the narrator by mandating certain things like, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to let you do this, I'm not going to let you do that. Don't do that unless you have a good reason to do that. And as a player, accept whatever they're telling you because they do have a reason. And even if they don't, assume they do have a reason. Because if they want their sky to be red all the time, it's red all the time. Get over it. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't argue with referees. Referees I don't know how to say this without sounding kind of like a dictator, but when I run a game and I say she's blonde and the players all say, well, I read the module and the module says she's black hair, that bothers me. That gets under my skin that you came into the game. First of all, you read the module, and that's no good. But second of all, you came into the game with the willingness to argue. And if that's ever the case, then, I think kicking people like that out of a game is actually better for the group than to let them stay in the game and argue all the time. But that's the topic of another video. So, okay, so that's really all I wanted to say. I didn't want this video to go on too long, but I do want to say we have an opening in we have a number of openings, at least 2 openings in my Traveler game and my D&D game. If you're interested in either one, let me know, and we can make some characters. We can get you into the game. I can give you my expectations, and then you can join the group, as we discuss it. Yeah, I think that's where I want to leave this video at. All right, so hopefully I'll hear from somebody if you're interested. If not, no big deal. We'll just keep on trucking. Check us out on Thursday nights, and I'll see you in the next one.